I am Alexis. Like you said, I'm 20 years old. I'm an entrepreneur. I was born and raised in North Carolina. This is such a blessing and a crazy experience that I went through. And I was like, wait, I can make money off a product that's not mine. Like, I didn't have to create this product. So that's when reselling was like, oh, I'm going to do that. I have no job right now. If this doesn't work out, I didn't go to college. What am I doing? I walk in and I just felt this piece of like, I can create this beautiful business in this store. I tell myself sometimes, I'm like, I don't know if we can continue this. Like, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. This took 5 years of my everyday attention.
What's up, guys? Liftinglove. Liftinglove here. Where did you pull this question from? Lift Love, crochet, we out. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Lifting Love podcast. You are awesome, and today we have a very special guest. This is Alexis from Uptown Thrift Shop. How you doing today, Alexis?
Good. How are you?
Wait for the pan out. Boom, we're at the store.
Woo! Surprise!
Look at how awesome this looks in here. This
Yeah.
is incredible.
This is an amazing setup. I didn't see the vision until it was coming together, and I was like, oh, wait, this actually looks amazing.
She had zero faith in us.
No, I didn't. No.
You were like, that table hasn't been moved since I
No,
opened.
we have not moved this stuff since we've opened. It's been where it's been, but now that it's moved, it looks amazing in here. I love it.
Well,
It's great.
so much to dive into.
Yes.
Your story is incredible, and you're only 20 years old, which
Yeah.
is incredible. So here we are, Uptown Thrift Shop. First off, before we get into that story, who are you and what do you do for the people who don't know you?
Okay, so I am Alexis. Like you said, I'm 20 years old. I'm an entrepreneur. I was born and raised in North Carolina. My dad's actually an immigrant, so he came to America. He was an extremely hard worker. I think that's where I got all my drive from. I was homeschooled my entire life. Very
Wow.
weird, I know. And I would go to work with him a lot, and I just kind of loved being your own boss. Like, this is so cool. I'm also the eldest of 9 kids. So
Wow.
I always had a lot of roles to play, a lot of responsibilities, and I started this business in 2020. COVID hit and had a lot of time on my hands. I was at home. I was doing school. I graduated a year and a half early, and I've accomplished a lot, I guess, but I also feel like I haven't accomplished enough. So we're still going. Yeah.
That is such, and I mean, even I'm 26, and that's still
Yeah.
such a battle every day. Even though
Yeah,
you
it
make
is.
these big steps,
Mhm.
it feels like, man, it's all
There's
the way down
always
there.
more, right? I'm like, there's always more I could be doing. There's always, but I just, need to sit down and be like, I'm grateful for where I am, and I've done a lot so far. But,
So you didn't always start and you just didn't start and have this amazing store that
No.
you have now.
no,
So
it
ha-
didn't
ha-
happen overnight.
So how did we get? How'd you start and how'd you get here?
Okay, so rewind literally 5 years. This is our 5th year in business, which is
Hold on.
so thank you. It's so crazy to think that we made it 5 years, and I think starting off, I honestly would have never guessed I would be here today. Like, this is such a blessing and a crazy experience that I went through. But I can tell you how we started. I thrifted a pair of baby shoes. It's so random, for $1, and I flipped them for $10, and I was like, wait, I can make money off a product that's not mine. Like, I didn't have to create this product. So that's when reselling was like, oh, I'm going to do that. And I started buying things when I would go out with my mom, throw them up online, and then I realized, oh, this is actually serious money. My room quickly became overtaken by boxes, and it looked like a mini Uptown Thrift Shop. It was just
Wow.
boxes everywhere. I had bins. I had a rack of clothes. It was actually growing great. And then my dad was so awesome and was like, let's build a she shed in the backyard for you. So we built, I think it was like a 10 by 15.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big. And
I mean, for just starting
Yeah.
out, I mean,
it was big.
It's like
yeah.
it's like a whole garage.
No, literally. I think it was after probably 6 months of my room just constantly being filled with more things that he was like, okay,
This is becoming a lot.
next level. Yeah. So I think it was 6 months after that. My uncle came to help. It was so awesome. My family is great with construction, so we built that thing up pretty quick. Built a she shed, and I painted it navy blue and rose gold. Don't ask. I have no idea where those colors.
They were the only colors left at the store.
I think so. Maybe we found them in the garage. I don't know. Our colors now are clearly not those colors. But yeah, so we had a she shed. I would go in there every morning and ship out packages. One time I shipped out, it was over 20 packages in a day.
Wow.
And it was just constant buying things and reselling them. And as a young kid, I kind of knew name brands because you got to know the name brands.
Yeah.
What's selling? What do people want? What's actually worth reselling and what's not? I kind of knew that growing up because my mom like dipped into reselling a little bit when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I knew, oh, a North Face jacket's gonna sell for more than a regular brand. So, building that up. But yeah, so then I did that for a few years.
Can I ask real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Did you get because I thrift. I don't thrift to the level that you do. But I remember that first product that sold, and like you said, $1, and you flipped it for however much, $10.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, I think mine was like 12 or 15, whatever. And I was just hooked. It's like
a high.
It is. It's like you're looking. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I did this with that,
I know.
what can I? The best is when you find stuff that you didn't even know.
Yes.
Like my best flip, real quick, was I walked into Goodwill.
Okay.
And I found that it had some like Chinese writing on it. It was I have no idea what it said. Apparently it was. I found out later it was like prosperity. It was like one of those like sayings.
Oh.
I just thought it was a cool mug.
Yeah.
Bought it for $1, sold it for 20.
Okay.
I was like, that makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
But I was so hooked. What?
Yeah.
Did you get hooked right from the start after you sold and flipped it for $10?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was like immediately like, wait, I just turned $1 into 10 overnight with nothing. Like it was like, whoa. And there's such amazing platforms now that you can list stuff and it does all the work for you.
Literally.
It's throwing it out on Google for people to see. It's like right in front of their faces. You don't have to do anything. You just put it online and you sell it.
How much you wish you had that back when you first started?
No, I know, literally. But yeah, so continuing the story, it's kind of a crazy ride, honestly. I feel like was so long ago, but it wasn't, if that makes sense. Like, it was only 5 years ago that this all really started. But then, so then we actually moved. And I was sad because we couldn't take the she shed with me.
I mean,
So
you could have.
We could have, but we sold the house with that. And, and I was kind of like, well, where are we going to put all our stuff? And I think I had it in our camper for a while. And then after that, my dad built an even bigger one.
Wow.
So that one I did have to put in some cash for, but it's okay because I had it.
Now, when you say big, how much bigger are we talking?
I mean, not a whole ton bigger, but definitely. I'm trying to think of the dimensions of it. It's pretty large.
Wasn't
like 20 feet by.
Oh
something.
my gosh!
Yeah, it's like a little house. You can make it into a little house.
Wow.
You walk in there, and I actually. Which is the next part of the story is I set it up like a store. I had these racks. A lot of these racks were in there. And I just took them out when I opened the store. But we had it set up like a little store. The little gold shopping cart was in there. All this great stuff. And I had friends and family come shop while all that's online. So it was, they were coming in and kind of just supporting me like, oh, whatever. I think back to those days and I cringe a little bit. I can't believe I asked people to come to my backyard. Like, okay. But they came and they supported, and truly, like, people, that's how we are. Like, where we are today is because of people that supported me from the beginning. And even if it was just buying a pair of jeans or a pair of shoes, like, that's how we made it this far. People supported me, and whether it was through like helping me out setting up stuff for like a little event I did or just purchasing a pair of shoes, that's how we got here today, was people. Like, I cannot stress it enough. I would not be here today without the community and the support that I've received. So
I know, we've talked a little bit. I didn't know that whole part of the story, but I know that you said you started when business really became serious. You then started in somebody else's shop.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, working in somebody else's place?
I look back and I'm like, wow, I took that for granted so much because it was so easy to just have all that stuff set up in there and not have to be there all the time and not have to worry about a million bills all the time. I literally just paid rent. Like, that's it. And my stuff sold greatly, and we would do events there. So in downtown Statesville is where we started. That was 2022 summer, and I started off with one rack of clothing, and
Whoa.
yeah,
One rack.
one
of-
rack, like one rack,
like just this
big.
one rack
Yes,
behind me.
one rack.
Wow.
We started off with one rack. How I got in there is pretty funny because I volunteered at a thrift store, or I used to, down the road from there. And I was walking up the street and I was like, oh my gosh, a store is opening. Like, I love business. I have a passion for this. Like, I was so new to all this. I, first of all, was not who I am today. Like, I was scared to talk to people. And it all worked out. But I was walking past her store, and I remember there was a sign on the door and it said opening tomorrow. And I was like, looking in, and I was like, oh, this store is a disaster. I'm knocking on the window, and this was the first step that I really made to Uptown Thrift Shop being out there. Like, that was my first step, I think.
So before you got to that store,
Yeah.
like what were you doing business wise with yours? Was it successful enough, or was it clear that you needed to take a
No,
next
I needed
step?
it was a next level needed. Like, this was literally all just playing out in time,
Mhm.
So that was my next step because, selling online can only bring in so much income.
True.
And I remember I stopped having little events at that shed because it was just getting so much inventory. It was hard to bring people in there and have it clean all the time like a store. So I was like, let's not do that anymore. So we stopped doing the in-person events. And I was like, I don't know where my business is gonna go, but it's kind of just at a standstill right now. And then I'm, walking down the street, knocking on this girl's window, and she opens the door. She's the sweetest lady ever. Her name is Samantha. She is a boss woman. She taught me a lot of what I learned about business and all that. And so I walk in and I'm like, hi, you don't know me. I don't know you, but do you want me to help you? Like, what can I do? And she was like, are you kidding? And I was like, no. And she's like, okay, here's this and this. And I remember just getting to know her, chatting it up. It was great. And then that kind of all started the next day. I think she had her grand opening, and then the next week I popped up. I did a pop-up. I brought like 3 racks of stuff to her store and sold amazingly, and I was like, whoa. So I did that 3 times, 3 weeks, and then she was like, girl, leave your rack here. Like, there's no point.
Please don't go.
There's no point in you packing up your car every weekend. She was like, literally just leave your rack here and we'll sell everything. And so that, and then she had other small businesses in there too. So that started all of that. But yeah, I had 1 rack in there. And from 1 rack to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. And that's it. It was max capacity after that. The rent, everything. I was like, I think that's enough. So the upstairs part of her store was basically mine. And
Wow.
we would throw these things called Lulu events. And that is where my clientele is from. Yeah.
I think maybe in the past year I heard of
Yeah.
Lululemon. Again,
Yeah.
I don't know how much they do men-wise. I don't know if they do.
They do. Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of Lululemon before 2024.
Yeah.
But there are people out there who
Yeah.
swear by certain clothing.
Yeah.
And like for me, like shoes,
Mhm.
it's Nikes or
Exactly,
it's
right.
and honestly now like with the work I do, I'm always on my feet. It's
Yeah.
Skechers, super comfortable.
Yeah.
Like you have like those brands that you swear by that you
Mhm.
only want to shop. And when you get into higher end like you're
Yeah.
talking about,
Yeah.
like there are people who will swear
Oh, yeah.
by
That's Lulu.
certain brands.
Mhm.
Because when you first started, speaking of branding, because
Yeah.
I think brands are important. It's
Mhm.
like people find identity, in the brands
Yeah.
that they wear. It's part of who they are. It's part of their
Mhm.
fashion, right? Is there a brand in particular? Maybe it's Lulu. When you first started, that you were like, "This is the brand that I'm gonna buy. This
Yeah.
is the brand I'm gonna sell. This is
Yeah.
what we're doing."
Yeah, it was 100% Lulu. Lulu, I think, was what made Uptown take off, kind of. So it was Lulu, and then there's also this brand called Free People. People love it. It is a bohemian, modern style brand that does amazing for us. But Lulu was definitely our kickstart. That was the niche.
Is there a brand you wish that you explored more? Or did you kind of just, hey, this is selling,
Yeah.
let's just stick with it and we're going to
Yeah.
run with it?
Okay, I think that's kind of what happened. We're gonna stick with the Lulu, and we're just gonna take it and run, because it's what was selling. And I feared that it was gonna drop, and people are not going to want it anymore. But this past Saturday, we just did a mini Lulu event. And
hold on. She's saying mini. When I tell you there was a line,
yeah, there was a line
through
outside.
Literally, like how many people were here? There was like,
well, we sold tickets, and I mean, around 20 people bought tickets to shop early. So it was just,
and that was just the people who shopped early. There was.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people do you think you saw yesterday? It was
Saturday.
this weekend.
So it was. I mean, it was insane because we had a line check. Around like 40 people in the store and outside because we had stuff outside. Like, we did a few complaints. People were like, "It's so busy, I couldn't even shop." And I'm like, "I'm sorry."
I mean, you guys had so much inventory.
So we did, yeah.
It's just so cool to me because like my experience with thrift stores have been Goodwill, have been, Salvation Army, have been these small mom and pop thrift stores. When you come here, it's you. Yeah. But it feels like you're part of something so much bigger.
Because we're more than just a thrift store. Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
That's it. That's the slogan.
Well, I tell people that all the time. We are Uptown Thrift Shop, but we're not just a thrift shop. We're so much more than that. We're a community-built store, and like I said, we have small businesses in here, and those people get to sell their products and have a chance at doing what I did. That's what I love. I started out as a vendor in someone's store, so giving people that opportunity in my store it's so cool. I love doing it. But yeah, we're more than just a store. I mean, we have a coffee bar.
Which I would love to talk more in depth.
Yeah, we could dig into that a little.
like, first off, you're in this amazing entrepreneur, super young, crushing it. Then all of a sudden, she gets into the store. Now you're like, you know what?
No, I'm bored.
I'm bored. I'm just
the line out the door.
I'm just absolutely crushing it. You know what? Let's become a Starbucks as well.
Oh yeah.
When like, have you always had interest in making coffee, or when did that come about?
So.
Well, first off, it's also really good. Like, I'm
thank
drinking
you
some right now.
So much. Thanks. I think the coffee love kind of came from my friend Sarah. She's not in Statesville anymore. She actually moved to South Carolina, but she owns a awesome coffee truck. And I worked with her a little bit when I was in downtown because I just had extra time on my hands. I worked with her for fun. And that's when I was like, whoa, there's like a science to coffee, and I love it. And I love creating these products and these drinks. And she actually plays a huge role into this because after I moved out from the old place, this is like a little moment where I just like take for myself because it's so awesome the way God moved in this way. I felt like I should leave that store, that little boutique where I had my stuff upstairs, and I really didn't know why. I had no reason to leave. I just felt like I couldn't grow there, and I was comfortable.
She wasn't like kicking you out or anything. Like, you could have stayed
there.
We
were besties. Yeah, no, for anything, I think she was like, "Please don't leave."
Please stay.
Yeah. So, I was just like, "Oh man, I really can't grow here to my full potential, and I can keep doing Lulu events, and I can keep doing this, but this is not mine."
Yeah.
And I really felt the Lord just telling me, just leave. And I'm like, well, how can I leave? Like, they're paying me. Like, the people know I'm here. I'm making money. It doesn't make any sense for me to leave.
Did you have a plan per se? Was there like, hey, like, I don't have to be here, but like, did you have like, okay, I'm going to go look at buildings. I'm going to go do this. Or were you kind of just like the Lord had on your heart was like, you know what? Maybe it's time to leave and something will come.
Yeah. So I had a little bit of an idea of, I just wanted my own space, but I didn't know what that looked like. And I did look at a building. I remember I went and looked with the landlord at it, and I was like, this is so awesome. I just don't feel this is the one. Like, I don't know. It's as much as I want it, and it was down the road. I was like, this isn't the place. And
was it similar to this, or?
Way bigger.
Way bigger.
So I think we needed to start a little small and grow a little more, which is fine. But yeah, so I looked at that place. It just wasn't it. And I was still at that place, though. So I was still it's called the Mercantile on Broad in downtown Statesville. You guys have to go check it out. It's awesome. And so I was still there, but I was like looking around a little bit. I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm probably going to leave by December. It was August. Or it was July. It was July. And I gave her time.
Yeah, that's a good amount of time.
Yeah, I was like, I just think I'm going to be out by December. I don't know where. I just don't think I can grow here. And I, thanked her for all of the amazing business opportunities she gave me. And, I texted her every day. Like, she was awesome. And then some stuff did happen a little bit, and it was just like, okay, I think I need to leave now. And I really felt like the Lord was just like, leave now. And I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going. I'm going home. Like, okay. So I packed up my little SUV, and I'm on the way home, and I'm not going to lie to you, I was crying, and I'm like, I have no job right now. If this doesn't work out, I didn't go to college. What am I doing? And I'm a person that I'm very like, all right, let's go. Like, I need this done now. So I was like, all right, Lord, like, tomorrow you're going to show me. If not, I'm going to like enroll in some college because I can't just sit at home all day. I'm a person that I have to be at the house all the time. And I woke up the next morning to a text from my friend Sarah, who owns the coffee truck that I would work with sometimes. And she was like, hey, girl, I went to a workout class at this dance studio, which is next door. And she's like, I just seen like a for rent sign in the window. Go check this place out. I know the owner. What?
What type of text message is that to get?
I know. I was like, Sarah, like, whoa, okay. But
Literally
like to me, it was mind blowing because I literally had prayed the prayer yesterday, and I was like, it was such a leap of faith just to leave, just to hear the calling and just go and follow. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. So I texted her. I was like, well, I guess send me his info. Like, let me go check this place out. I went the same day. And I walked in here, and there was yellow walls, concrete floors. I was like, "Oh wow!" It was not my cup of tea.
Well, let's just see how the store looks now.
Yeah,
look, this is not how it looks.
No, it took 30 days. It took 30 days, but we did it. So it was rough. But it had potential.
When you walked into the store,
yeah,
did you immediately just see what it could be?
I just felt peace. Like,
wow. I
walk in and I just felt this piece of like, I can create this beautiful business in this store, even though the walls are killing me. I was like, they were bright yellow. Like, I was just like, what? And to me, I'm a very like minimalistic kind of person. So I was just like, ugh. But yeah, so meet the owner. And you know, the funny thing is, he was like, oh, wait, you're the girl from downtown.
No.
We go to your Lulu events. I was like, what? Like, this is so weird. I know. It's like, oh, so you know me. And then I'm like, oh, God. Like, okay.
Did you feel like you were in a movie at some point?
Yeah.
You're just like this celebrity.
My life is a movie right now. It's like everything that happens, I'm like, I don't know even how this happened. But yeah, so he was telling me like, oh, we love coming out to your events. And he was like, I'd love to have you here. And I was like, oh, okay. Give me a week to think and pray about it, and we're going to figure it out. The next day I came with my dad. We looked at it. It was, you know, still just kind of unclear, but I really felt peaceful here. Like, I really felt like we are meant to be here. And just another thing, like, it's so awesome because this whole like strip that I'm in is so women empowered. We have the dance studio, and it's women owned. We have a awesome child daycare next door. It's women owned. A salon, women owned. We have a nurse practitioner down there, women owned. A pharmacy, woman owned. Like, it was just like so uplifting to be like, wait, I can actually run a business because I'm surrounded by boss women. So it's like, this is awesome. It all played into a perfect role. And yeah, I prayed about it for, I said, give me 1 week, and I'm gonna think and pray about this building. And my whole family prayed for me, and it was just confirmation after confirmation from God. Like, this is the place that you're supposed to be at. Like, and it was so much peace signing a 2-year lease at 19 and giving a deposit that I was like, and this is a funny, guys, this is part of my story, I guess, too. It's like, guys, I didn't have $1 million to start. I had to take a loan out. Like, I put all my money on the deposit because it was a few months of rent, and then I had to take a loan out from my wonderful dad. So,
how nerve-wracking
oh,
was signing that lease and taking that loan to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I was in somebody else's space. I've been doing this for a couple years now. I'm going to bet on not only on what I'm doing, I'm going to bet on myself and what I'm doing.
Seriously, it was a leap of faith. But one thing I will never forget when signing the contract on a piece of hardwood flooring, because there was nothing in here. And I'm just like, you know, signing a 2-year contract that I've never been into debt. I've never signed anything. I didn't even have a credit card. Like, I was just like, this is really new to me. The child daycare next door, I just remember them singing Jesus Loves Me. Like, I know it's like the randomest things, and I was just like, this is so peaceful. And later on, I did find out that this was a church. And so to me, that played a huge role into my life because being a pastor's daughter, I was like very involved in the church, and I'm super involved in our church. And my church is 30 seconds down the road. So,
So it's got it's literally just one thing
Yeah.
after another. It's
confirmations
like
from the Lord. Confirmations after one another. Yeah.
It's so cool because like, and every time I come here.
Yeah.
I've been a couple times now, twice.
Twice.
Twice, a couple times. I mean, technically a couple times. You always talk about community. It's so funny. Like you even now before you're like girl boss,
Yeah.
and you're one too. And you
Aw.
always talk about everybody else. So
Yeah.
community plays such a
It does.
powerful
Yeah.
part of your life.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that you'd be half as far as you are without the community that you
No.
have?
Not at all. I think what pushed me so much was I actually met some of my closest friends through the community, through the store. And that kept pushing me to go further and being like, wait, I get to meet amazing people. I get to help people. This lady came in the other day and she was like, you have no idea how much it means to me. Like, you literally just buying my clothes for me. Like, it helps me. And I'm like, I don't know how it helps you, but okay. It's just like, we love your stuff. Please keep coming in.
if you could bring everything you own, just deposit your closet into the store, we'll take
100%,
it.
100%. Like, I realized, I was like, you know what? Like, talking to people is a huge thing that I love to do. And I discovered that when I had the little space in downtown. I was like, wait, I have a really big heart for community. Like, I would do anything for my customers, and sometimes my customers come in here and they are just like having a rough day, and I'm like, hey, like, let me give you a free cup of coffee and let's chat about it. Like, I just, so community is huge for me. I don't think I would be here without them. They're always supporting me. Like on Saturday, you've seen that. I had 1 week to advertise this event, and I was like, no one's gonna show up. Who was I kidding?
Like another thing that just blows my mind is like, you did the entrepreneur of the year
Yeah.
and you were so like not thinking like you could do anything with it.
No.
Same thing with the store.
Yeah.
No one's gonna show up.
Yeah.
But people time after
They
time after
do.
time,
They really
they
do.
show up for you. How does that feel, knowing that you have this community that like, if times get tough you can lay on, even if times are good you could still rely on them? What does that mean to you?
So recently I was going through a lot, actually, just with the store even, and I kept telling myself, like, I really don't, like, guys, honestly, like, I tell myself sometimes, I'm like, I don't know if we can continue this, like, if we're gonna keep doing it. But then I just think back to those people, and I'm so ungrateful, like, not ungrateful. Edit that out.
Cut. I am just so selfish. So selfish.
I'm so selfish. That's why I'm here. So, no, I don't feel worthy of all these people like coming to support me. It's a weird feeling. Like, I feel like I don't deserve it, and I don't know how to explain that.
Is there like a reason you don't feel like you deserve it? Like, because like it just seems like, and again, this is outside looking in. Even me and my wife came here. We shot the video.
Yeah.
And there was this lady who walked in, and she had like this like weird aura around her. And the minute she saw you, she lit up.
Yeah.
I don't even know I don't think you notice the impact that you have on people.
Probably not.
But it was so cool. She came in, she was like bummed out, and then all of a sudden, hey, how are
She's
you?
like, whoa,
and then
okay.
she just like, y'all just got into this really deep conversation. It was just so nice to see. It's like refreshing.
Yeah.
But like, why do you think that you like don't deserve any of this?
I don't know.
Because you're like just this awesome person.
Okay, well, maybe that's what it is. I just don't feel like an awesome person sometimes. I feel like I always can be better. Maybe that's like my toxic trait is I tell myself, kind of beat myself up a lot. I'm like, you're not good enough. You should be further in life, and I think that's something I struggle with, and I think a lot of people struggle with that. Is we are worst critics. I look in the mirror and I'm like, why do I look a certain way? And why do I why this is, and then I have to sit down and I'm like, whoa, girl, like the Lord created you for who you are, to be who you are, and to accomplish with what you're doing. And then I am grateful. Like, don't think I'm not ungrateful. I just don't think I'm worthy of any of this because I don't feel worthy at all.
I think the craziest part of your whole story is that you're only 20 years old.
Yeah, that throws people off. They're like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, to me, let's be honest, I don't see that as something crazy. I feel like I'm like, I look at the Kardashians and I'm like, okay, Kylie's a billionaire. She's 29. Like, no, but on that scale, it's unrealistic. But I always think I can be further in life, and maybe that's what keeps me going. So maybe it's a good thing. I don't know.
Where do you see yourself in
Oh, gosh.
10 years from now? I mean,
Okay.
think about that. You're
Okay.
20 now.
Yeah.
Where do you see Uptown Thrift Shop gonna be by the time you're 30? As a line literally forms outside. I mean, this. I mean, if you want to talk about the power of community,
Yeah.
there is a line forming out as we are recording this podcast.
Yeah.
This
there
is the incredible power that we have here.
This is so funny. I didn't even realize that.
Like literally, I think there's 5 people out there right now.
Because they're waiting for us to open. We're opening late.
She put a sign on the door saying we're open. Like they're here already just to support her, and they've been sitting out there for a couple minutes.
I
But
know, that girl's been there for like 10 minutes.
so, where do you think you're going to be in 10 years, and how?
Okay.
Like realistically, that building that you wanted to get that was much bigger.
Yeah.
You think that's where you'll be?
So that is my dream right now. I think in 10 years, I guess just to describe to you my dream life would be married with some kids. I want to raise some like really entrepreneur children, like to accomplish a lot and give them the opportunities that I was given as a child, because truly I think that played a huge role into where I am today. My parents were very ambitious and they let me take the risks, even though I would cost them money or I would do stuff. They believed in me, and that helped me a lot. So I want to give that to my future children. I want to be married. I want to have a bunch of children. I want to live on a farm. I love animals. I know that's really random. Okay, not all animals, but I love chickens. And so I want a chicken farm and like all these cute horses and all that on a big plot of land. I want a tiny house. I would love a tiny little house. And I would love to keep running Uptown Thrift and maybe a cafe.
The Uptown Thrift Cafe.
Yeah.
Have some thrift clothing in there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, just a couple more questions
Yeah.
for you. You mentioned your parents. You mentioned them a couple times.
Yep.
How can you talk about them and just how grateful and how important that has been for you?
Yeah.
And what does that relationship look like now that you're actually
Yeah.
5 years into this and you're not
Yep.
in the backyard anymore, but you're doing your own thing? Like, how supportive they've been? Are they
Yeah.
still supporting you now? Like, they're still
Yep.
supportive?
My mom was literally here this morning to buy her coffee. And, she is a big supporter. I really don't tell my parents enough, so I know they're going to watch this later. And hopefully they really do realize that I am where I am because of them, because of their hard work, because my dad, worked so much when, like, he came from a different country. It wasn't like he really didn't start with a ton of stuff. He built his way up to owning his own company, hiring people to work for him. So my mom is also awesome. Whenever I was first starting, she took me thrifting all the time. She would, potentially drop a lot of things and just be like, yeah, let's go. It's a good day. They put stuff out. Let's go. I'm so grateful that they helped me, and I'm grateful to my dad who loaned me so much money. And, it took a little while to pay him back, but I paid him back, and it's just amazing to see that because I had such awesome parents and such an awesome community around me that I didn't even know existed until I started business, that it took me to where I am today. And I will say the haters are still always going to be there. There's some haters, but the community is louder than the haters, so
Ooh,
it works.
It was actually one of my last questions too.
Yeah.
The enviness. We talked about this off camera as we were setting up. But being 20, being in a place that a lot of people would have loved to have been when they were 20.
Mm-hmm.
How is it? I mean, even there's probably some jealousy or enviness from people who are your age and aren't as successful or are maybe in college or just starting their career.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with the noise? Do you let it affect you? And what do you do about it? Because I know even like before you were talking how you had like a Karen complaining about like something that was just
like, we love Karens.
Karens, we don't love you. No.
Actually I know a Karen and I literally love her, but like her name is Karen, but she's not a Karen, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I used to let it affect me, and I would see certain people in my life that did not want to support me, and I never knew why they didn't want to support me until my dad pointed it out. He was like, have you ever thought that they were jealous of you? And I was like, oh, what are they jealous of? Like, I genuinely was like, what could they be jealous of? I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. This took 5 years of my everyday attention. You know, people don't realize that. It took 5 years of me waking up every morning and stressing out. So, like, what are you jealous of? I put everything I own into this business, and it took me away from. I wasn't out like everyone else was because I was working a lot. So when I heard like certain people complaining about me, and some of the relationships actually that I thought would never break kind of broke because of this, and it woke me up to be like, you know, your true supporters, your true cheerleaders are always going to be there for you. And it was the people that I never even knew, the people that I met coming through the door, and I was like, they're my biggest cheerleaders. And it wasn't the people that I thought it was going to be, which is so interesting because I was like, huh, you think the people that will always be there for you, sometimes they're not. But then there's also the great people that are. So
being a business owner really opens your eyes to a lot of things. And I think the biggest thing is the people who truly support you.
100%.
Because, again, you're doing things that some people wish they could be doing. And, again, people also glorify being a business owner.
Yeah.
There are days where you absolutely hate it. And you question your
everything. Why am I alive? Let's just be honest. I go through that.
Is this my purpose? Like, what, like, am I really called to do this? There's all these things that people don't see outside looking in. That you're pulling your hair out because you're like, am I gonna make the bills this month? You're pulling your hair out. All these other things, and don't even get me started on taxes. But
oh my gosh, no! Don't even go there, please. Like, I can't think about that right now. The worst.
But it's just super cool to see your story.
Yeah.
Last two things for you. For someone who has never shopped at Uptown Thrift Shop, what would you say to them on what they can experience and what that's going to be like for them?
So something I hope that they can experience when they walk through those doors is, and people have mentioned this before, when they come in here, they just feel the peace. They feel the love of God. We play Christian music. I pray over this space. This is my safe place. I want this to be a safe place for anyone who, if you even want to just come in and talk. Like, I love talking with people. I have a lot of people who just come in to talk. They don't even buy anything, and that doesn't bother me in the slightest. One thing you can expect, though, is great brands. We also buy from people, so we buy, Lululemon, Patagonia, Free People, all the top selling brands, like a Plato's Closet type of deal. And in Statesville, because Statesville didn't have they had nothing like this. And that was another really cool thing, is I kind of started this like new wave in my town. Like, we didn't have a store like this. So you can get, name brand clothing for less. We have small businesses. You can support people from Hickory, from Taylorsville, from Troutman, from Charlotte, and they sell their local honey, their candles, their soap. And then you can also come grab a great cup of coffee. So, yeah.
And then the last question, which I told you about before, gave you some time to think.
Yeah.
For anyone watching this, maybe they're an entrepreneur, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just somebody in everyday life who, I don't know, feeling down, feeling anxious, whatever.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice that you can give to somebody watching this right now?
Best piece of advice I can give anyone, and I tell people this all the time: if you completely surrender your plans, like I did, I had no idea what I was doing. Surrender your plans to the Lord, and He will direct your path. Like, it sounds a lot easier than it is, because I think sometimes we overcomplicate, like, the Lord and His relationship with us. We like, there's this big God, and He's scary, and this and that, and He's, but no. It's so simple. He loves us. He gives us all the strength that we need, and He will direct your paths if you surrender it to Him. And I do that. I have to do it daily sometimes. Lord, I'm surrendering today to You because it's Yours. And You gave me the breath when I woke up, and we're going to go on a podcast, and You're going to plan it out to where one person will hear it and they'll be encouraged. So just surrender everything. That's kind of what I live by, I guess I could say.
You were so nervous, and
I know.
You spoke so
Dude,
good.
The camera turned on, and I don't know why. I was like, I kind of like this. I kind of want to do this.
last thing.
Yeah.
I know I keep saying last thing. That should just be my slogan. Last thing. Actually,
literally.
last thing.
Actually, wait. I love it.
And then I just lost it, just like that.
That's okay.
It's just lost it.
I'll think of something else.
No, you said something that really. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
2025. what can people expect, and why should people be on the lookout for all the awesome things you're going to be doing in 2025?
Yeah, 2025 is going to be a big year for us, and it is already a big year for us. I mean, I just did an event that was amazing. It went phenomenal. We might not be here.
Whoa! Oh, shoot! Oh!
I really can't say a lot because I really don't know a lot. And that's another thing, is just walking in faith that the Lord is going to open the doors, because I don't think we'll be here in next year at this time. I don't think we'll be here. I really don't. So I don't know what's
20, this next time we do this podcast might be in a different place.
It really might not be here. We're kind of just looking around right now, and not because this place isn't doing great, but because I can't grow here. It's 1,400 square feet, and I need to grow, and I can't grow in 1,400. I need, way more than that. So
If you had an ideal next building, how big would it be?
I think
fantasy world right now.
Okay, that's crazy. But like ideal, perfect amount that I think would be amazing for me, because I can't have a huge space, but big enough.
I mean,
big enough. 4,000 square feet is the dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that would be enough for you to grow, not only next year, but for the next couple.
To just keep that place. Like, that would be a dream. Just find somewhere where I can maybe even purchase, which is insane. But, like, I don't know, something where I can stick there for the next 5, 10, 15 years. You never know.
I mean, you speak it.
Exactly.
It can happen.
Right? We speak it out there.
And then now, literally the absolute last thing.
Yeah,
and this is how people are going to. Yes,
outside.
literally. This line, the support is absolutely amazing.
I love it so much.
They've been standing out there for like 10 minutes.
I cannot believe it. It's been longer than that.
Yeah. One girl was probably been out there for 30. So, absolute last thing, where can people find you on social media?
Oh, cool, yeah.
And also, you talk about, if you could just talk quickly about all the stuff you have real quick again.
Yep.
I know you don't just, people can sell stuff here. They buy stuff. You also have the small local aspect of it.
Yeah.
And how could people get involved and find you on social media?
So the easiest way to keep up with us is going to be Instagram and Facebook. Uptown Thrift Shop. If you look it up on Insta or Facebook, give us a follow. That I post all the time, every day. And we get new stuff in every single day. I'm putting something out. So, I mean, the best way to keep up with us is going to be Facebook for that. I post on Facebook what we get in. So you can kind of comment like, hey, I want that. Hold it. I'm coming. We currently have a little website. If you look up Uptown Thrift Shop online, it comes up. But I don't put a lot on there just because our Facebook and our community does great. I don't even need to put it on the website. It just sells. So, yeah.
And then real quick, one more time, because you've mentioned a little bit. You don't just sell, you buy. How would people go about how would people go by selling it?
Yeah, basically the name brands I kind of listed, and there's a post on Facebook that has all the brands that we take in. Put them in a basket, bring it on in, and I will look at it and give you a cash offer. You can walk away with some cash.
Cash offer.
Yeah.
Money. Dinero.
Yes.
Make sure you go follow her. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Loved it. I mean, this is just incredible.
Yeah.
Literally from the minute I walked in, I was like, this is going to be awesome.
Stop it. That's awesome.
And then I heard your story, and I was like, we got to get her on the podcast.
Yeah.
But make sure you go follow Uptown Thrift Shop. This is just an incredible story. Come shop here. Sell some stuff here. Make some dinero.
Yeah.
And then guess what you could do? Flip it and buy some more stuff here. I mean, that's just what you got to do.
Exactly.
So if you haven't, make sure you follow her. Also, follow us on the podcast, wherever you get it. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere that it is. But this was another Lifting Love podcast. And until next time, most importantly, lift love, crush hate. We out.